Support for today's Heat Treat Radio episode is provided by Heat Treat veterans. Know a heat treater who has served in the military? Submit their basic info to our archive at www.heattreattoday.com/veterans-nomination-page. And welcome to Heat Treat Radio. Whether you're listening to us or tuning in via video on heattreattoday.com/radio, we're glad to have you. It's 40 Under 40 season this June 2023. And joining us today is an exemplar, sharp, young heat treat professional, Sasha Tupalo, the manager of Thermatool Labs at Thermatool Corp. Recognized in 2019 as a 40 Under 40 rising star, Sasha has more than lived up to her call to leadership through the education of others and management of a variety of projects. In this Heat Treat NextGen series, formerly called Metallurgical Posterchild, we learn what brought her to metallurgy at such a young age, her training and leadership initiatives, and more. Let's take a listen.
Welcome. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you so much for having me, Doug. It's
You
a
bet.
great honor and pleasure.
Yeah, great. And we should not go without, we should start off right away by mentioning that Sasha was in the 2019 class of 40 Under 40. Heat Treat Today's 40 Under 40. So congratulations on that as well.
Thank you. That was a huge honor as well. So
yeah, great.
Yep.
Well deserved. So just let's just talk for a minute. I want to get a little bit about your background. As you know, we're just getting to know you a little bit better because you're one of one of the younger rising leaders in the industry. Just very briefly, where do you work right now? What's your title and what do you do? Just very briefly, because we'll come back to it shortly.
I work at Thermatool Corporation. We're located in East Haven, Connecticut. We manufacture high frequency welders, heat treating equipment, as well as cutting equipment for pipe and tube industry.
Right. And you guys are part of the Inductotherm group of companies, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Inductotherm group consists of over 40 companies.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And we have different divisions for melting and heat treating.
Right. For those in the heat treating industry, we might be a little more familiar with companies like Inductoheat, Radyne, Lapel, Radyne. There's a number of them there. I probably missed one, but there's a number of them in the market.
You got them. Yep.
Okay, good. So Thermatool is it. All right. And you are the manager of the lab?
Yeah, my current title is manager of Thermatool Labs, and Thermatool Labs is a characterization laboratory here at Thermatool, where we do studies on heat treating, well sample analysis, any R&D projects involving welding of new materials, perhaps with high frequency welding, creating heat treating recipes for our customers for post-weld heat treating of seams or full body annealing and heat treating. So
yeah.
I have the most fun here. Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Every day's exciting. It's good. So Sasha, where I want to go through very briefly through your upbringing, from where you were born, where you were raised, what your education was. We don't want to spend a lot of time here, but it's nice for people to know where you're from. So can you give us I was born in and up through college?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and raised in Ukraine in the town of Dnipro. It's kind of centrally located right on the river. So I went to high school there, went to undergrad school in my hometown as well. And then I moved to the US to pursue my master's degree. So both my undergrad degree and my master's degree were in material science, so in engineering. Yep.
And your undergrad degree was from Ukraine, or did you get it here in the States?
No, it was from Ukraine. Yep, my bachelor's degree. Yep.
And then you came to, what year was it that you came to the US for your master's?
It was 2014. Yep.
2014.
I had a gap year, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got my bachelor's in 2013, and then I had a gap year. And when I was studying in undergrad school, I've had an opportunity to come to the US for 2 summers. There used to be an exchange student program, so I've participated in that. And after I received my bachelor's, I thought it would be really neat to get my education somewhere overseas. So
yeah. And, so where did you go for your master's degree?
For my master's, I went to Worcester Polytech Institute in Worcester, Mass.
Oh, okay. Okay. WPI with Rick Sisson and that.
Absolutely. He was my professor. Yep.
Very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
we know Rick. We know Rick very well, or Dr. Sisson. We
Yeah.
refer to him more respectfully, right? Nice man.
I
That's
still
good.
call him Dr. Sisson, even though
Yeah.
yeah. We collaborate on things.
Yeah.
He will always be Professor Sisson to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult once you know someone by that title to, call them by their first name or whatever, which I think is probably good. So being from Ukraine, it's incumbent upon me just to ask, from your perspective, family and things of that sort, all okay as that you know of? Or
That I know of, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
My mom's been fortunate enough to, she's staying with me for a little while, and the rest of my family is still over there. But
well, yeah.
Thankfully it's been, I mean, it's,
yeah, it's been difficult,
but it's difficult, but thankfully they're all okay. So.
Yeah. Well, as you know, that a lot of people in the United States, all of our thoughts and prayers are with the folks of Ukraine, because they're certainly taking it on the chin. So we're
and I just like to say, from all the Ukrainian people, I know a lot of people are very, very grateful for your support. So,
yeah, great. Thank you. Appreciate that. So let's talk about how you got interested in metallurgy. I always find it interesting. Here you are, a young high school student or whatever. What intrigued you with materials and metallurgy?
So this is kind of funny, but I guess it's true. So this is how it's gonna go. It was pure curiosity. I was graduating high school and I was 16 at the time. And I really had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. So I started going through, majors and stuff. I had a list of things I knew I wasn't as interested in. I knew I don't want to go into medical field. My grandma was a doctor, but that's just not for me. Like law and stuff like that wasn't for me. My dad is an engineer, and I was good at math and sciences. So I've considered engineering. I just didn't know which kind of engineering. So I started looking, just through lists of majors and different like leaflets and stuff. And I found something that was called materials engineering. I was like, how curious. And I'm reading what's it about. And the leaflet from the undergrad school where I went to, the first sentence was, it just said, look around you. Everything that you see is made out of materials. And this is what we study. And I was like, wow, that's fascinating. And I started reading more, and I've leaned more into metals. That was my choice of material.
Any reason why metals? I mean,
no, not really. That's just what fascinated me. Yeah, as I started reading more and getting more into it, I was like, wow, I want to study this. This is very, very interesting and unique. Yep. Yeah.
That's an interesting, and I think very healthy perspective, is that you look around and you see, like you said, everything was around here is all this stuff on this fake shelf back here, right? It's all it's all materials. But so many people today want to go into more, into computer sciences and things of that sort, stuff that you really have a hard time getting your hands on. But there's a real world out there, right? That made up of real things. So it's kind of interesting. So you mentioned that your grandmother was a doctor, I think you said, and your father was an engineer, and your mother, I think you mentioned.
She's an English teacher, actually.
English teacher.
Yep.
Well, so what did they think? What did your family think when you said, you know what? I think I'm going to go this materials/metals route? Were they supportive? Did they say, what were you thinking?
So my dad was very excited. He's like, oh, another engineer in the family. That's great. He actually went to the same undergrad school as I did. So for him, that was, a very proud moment. My mom, she was supportive, but she was, kind of scratching her head. But she's like, if that's what you want to do, she's like, just do it well and you'll succeed. That's fine.
Yeah.
My grandma, I mean, she's older, and she was like, I don't think girls do engineering. That's kind of, the mindset. Well, my grandma's 82 now. So, at the time she just thought, and I was like, that's an odd choice. But yeah. And that's actually something that, when I went to school, there wasn't a whole lot of girls, especially in materials engineering. So,
yeah.
But I would
it's still relatively true. Still relatively true, I think.
It's still true. Yep. At WPI, we actually had a pretty diverse group for a master's degree. But once you get into metallurgy and heat treating industry, it's still predominantly male industry. So
the very first interview of this type that we did, in fact, the very first podcast that Heat Treat Today ever did, was with a female graduate from WPI.
Oh, wow.
Her name was Haley Sandgren at the time. She's now Haley Sandgren Fox, but she was a very first podcast that we ever did, and she was.
That's amazing.
It is, but having said that, I will tell you, years ago we did a survey of the thermal processing market, and it was basically 98% male.
Wow, really?
And 2% women. Yeah, but that was quite a few years ago, but I doubt that it's changed significantly. I mean, there's if it's 10 to 15% women, I would be surprised. So yeah,
I think the latest research on this from the Census Bureau, I've seen that in the workforce and STEM careers, it's around 27-28% women. So,
is that right? Very
yeah,
interesting.
Something like that. And then they have a further distinguishing between like computer science and engineering. Engineering numbers are quite low. So
very interesting. So when you got to WPI, what did you study specifically there? Was there like your master's thesis or something along those lines?
I had a master's independent project, and it was actually about heat treating. It was the microstructural and grain growth kinetics of 8620. So yeah, it was a pretty neat project. It was very hands-on, which a lot of people who go to WPI will tell you that we really appreciate the projects students have. They're very involved, they're hands-on. It kind of gives you a better perspective of how to actually take what you've learned and bring it to the real world and to your job
So what is the application? I mean, is there a practical application of what you studied, or is it more theoretical?
Well, this was, I mean, it's pretty much applicable just to heat treating industry. It was the oxidizing, quenching, and tempering. So
gotcha.
Grain growth kinetics and hardness variations, microstructural evolution. So it's actually all the things I do now. So that was
right.
When we return, we'll hear more about how Sasha's education prepared her for her current employment and get to know some of her insights about life and professions. But first, a word from our sponsor. Know a Heat Treat veteran? Heat Treat today is building an archive to remember individuals who have served in the military and now work in the heat treat industry. If you know someone who has given of themselves to protect and serve others and now works in heat treat, submit their name, contact email, and any information you know to the Heat Treat Veterans submission page, www.heattreattoday.com/veterans-nomination-page. You can find the link in this episode's show notes too, or reach out to myself, Bethany at heattreattoday.com for further information. Now back to the episode.
Now, specifically work-wise, what are some of the projects that you're involved with?
Well, I'm very heavily involved on the high-frequency induction welding side. So that was something new to me as I was graduating, but I've did a lot of other continued education in terms of welding metallurgy. So now I'm the expert of high-frequency induction welding. But we also do now, as the heat treating side goes, I'm now involved we're looking into new 2-step post-weld heat treating for high-frequency induction welds to improve their toughness performance, especially for pipelines. So low temperature pipelines, that seems to be the trend these days. So we're trying to help our customers to improve their Sharpie properties.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So did you enjoy WPI?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It
was a great school. Yeah, I had a really good experience. So.
And what did you enjoy most? So you don't need to answer technical. I mean, the technical part, was it, something outside of school? What was the,
the school itself, the campus, there's really a sense of community at WPI. So I had very good classmates, and we had a lot of, like I mentioned before, hands-on stuff and practical training and seminars. So it was very involved. It was nice to be in that atmosphere. So when everybody's striving to do their best and learn something new and just
And after you got out, let's say, have you enjoyed the industry?
Yes. I enjoy industry very much. So There's something about putting your knowledge to actual practical solutions.
Yeah.
So and I really enjoy this part. Yeah.
Do you get to go out into the field much? I mean, I know you do an R&D and things of that sort.
I do.
But you actually out in the field? Tell us about that a little bit.
So when I started at Thermatool, my first title was applications engineer. So I was traveling quite a bit. Yeah, I mostly would visit our pipe and tube mills of our customers. So they don't differ much from steel mills. So yeah, but yeah, it's really good. So
yeah. So you started application engineer, then you're what now, lab manager or research?
Yes.
Yeah. What was the progression there?
Applications engineer, materials engineer, senior materials engineer, and now manager. Yep.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So you've been climbing the corporate ladder, as they say. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple of the quickie questions here for you. You sound like, in fact, you mentioned it, you continue to grow in your knowledge and things of that sort. What is, if you were to recommend one really helpful tool for people similar to you in the industry, you know, some sort of metallurgical resource or materials resource or things of that sort? Do you have anything that's a favorite?
Go with ASM.
Yeah.
They have vast knowledge, and they have classes, webinars, they publish books, you know, there's just pretty much anything you might need, you can find them. So
right.
I have taken a couple of the classes myself because they were very niche. That's not something you learn in school.
Right.
You know, so they were very helpful. And I think if someone's looking for some resource, that's a great resource.
Is there anything, is there anything you would say in way of encouragement to younger people that, I don't know that many young people will be listening to this that aren't in the industry already, but would there be anything you could say that would encourage people to say, you know, you really ought to look into this industry?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity, and I'm sure you've heard it from other people too. We're having a really hard time finding new workforce, especially younger people. There's lots of opportunity for growth. It's fun. I mean, it's a really fun industry. To me, it is, at least. Yeah. So, and yes, if that's something that interests you, I say go for it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, very good. Well, you seem like a person would have an enjoyable time no matter where you went. So that's good. But all right. So I want to wrap this up. This has been great, Sasha. We appreciate it. I want to wrap this up with maybe some stuff a little bit more on the, you know, away from business and education, things of that sort. Just some fun things to show people that, you know what, materials engineers are people too. Okay, so
absolutely,
I'm going to give you a couple quick questions, and you can give me a one-word answer, or you can give me an embellish the answer. So this is the rapid fire round. Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
Are you a Mac or a PC user?
I would have to go with PC.
PC.
I've been a PC user since elementary school. So
okay, very good. Great. Okay, so when you consume media, okay, any type of media, what do you prefer? Print or digital? Both?
I would say both.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy like getting like email digests of sorts, like either weekly or daily or whatever they are. But there's something about reading through an actual magazine in print that I prefer much better. Yeah.
Very interesting. All right. That's great. So which do you value more? I'm gonna give you two options. Which do you value more? Flexible work schedule or high pay? If you had to give up one or the other, let's say would you rather be paid high and have a very rigid work schedule, or do you like the flexibility and maybe you'll take a little pay cut for the flexibility?
I would probably say flexible schedule.
Yeah. It's just
a tough one, but
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I wonder if you would ask me that maybe 5 years from now, if my answer would change, but as of right now, it would be flexible schedule.
Yeah, they tend to. I asked that question because, you know, I'm a baby boomer, right? I was born in 1961, so I'm one of the old timers, supposedly. Don't feel like it, but they tell me I am. And the characteristic, the stereotype is that we tend to be basically out for higher pay. You know, we want the higher paying jobs. But that the younger generation tends to be, you know, money's not that important. I'm more interested in flexibility and things of that sort. So it has been interesting. Almost everybody, all the younger people that we do, most of them do say, yeah, I'd rather have the flexibility. It's not that money's not important,
Right.
but,
Yeah.
but, they want it.
If you have to choose one. Yeah.
Yeah, right. One or the other. So kind of an unfair question, but that's okay. Nobody said the questions were going to be fair. So that's all right. All right. So let me ask you this. And the people at Thermatool, I'm sure, know that you love your job and that you're not going anywhere. But if money were no object whatsoever, what would be your dream job? I mean, if you didn't have to worry about money and you just did something you really enjoyed doing, what would you do?
Well, I've never thought of that because I enjoy what I'm doing. So
yeah. It could be that this is it.
Yeah, this might be it for me.
All right, good. Nothing else you didn't think, you've never thought, if I could just do this, that would be really interesting.
No, I really haven't, to be honest with you, because I really enjoy being an engineer. Yeah. Working on solutions and being challenged,
Very cool. Very good.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. Good to be content. So outside of work, what occupies your time? Are you a outdoor person, or what do you do?
I am. Yeah, I really like hiking and camping. In fact, my husband and I are trying to visit all the national parks in the US. So we got ways to go. When we started, there was 59 or 60 of them. Now it's up to 63. We've got 20 on our list so far. So
that you have been to? You've been to 20 so far? Mm-hmm. Okay. And where? Yeah. So give me what's the highlight? What's the best one so far? Or one? Well,
the most recent trip was actually last year. I went to Utah. So Zion National Park and Arches. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
I've heard it's nice. I've never been there, but I've heard it's outstanding.
Well, if you get a chance to go, I would highly recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like being grounded, being next to nature. That's how I relax and enjoy the outdoors. So
what does your husband do? What is his work?
He's actually also an engineer.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's a chief engineer at a hotel. So
okay, gotcha.
More of a maintenance and building engineering.
Plant engineer type of thing. Yeah. I was going to say that makes for interesting dinner conversations, I'm sure. Hey, dear, what kind of calculation do we want to do today? Oh, that's good. All right. Last question then, Sasha. It's been real enjoyable talking with you. Last question for you. Can you tell us, and again, this doesn't need to be technical, okay, but your favorite phone app, movie, or magazine? Or you can give us one of each. You can give us one of each if you'd like.
Favorite app. I guess I'll go with the one that I use pretty much daily. I use Audible a lot lately. So
okay.
Yeah.
For audiobooks?
Correct. Yeah. Because I've been trying to, I do so much reading for work. And when I do get a chance, sometimes a lot of people do podcasts. I do listen to some podcasts as well, but I found that audiobooks work for me too. And I can combine it, either it's commute or if I'm working out, I can kind of.
So how long is your commute?
Mine is actually not that long. So
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what type of books are you listening to?
Same thing. Like when I'm trying to be entertained, I read a lot for work and I'm trying to go somewhere different direction. Yeah. I'm working my way through the Game of Thrones series, Son of Ice and Fire. So I'm a little late to the party, but
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Well, very good, Sasha. That's basically all the questions I wanted to ask you. Really, really very much a pleasure to meet you and talk with you a bit. Congratulations again on the 40 under 40.
Thank you.
Are there any questions I should ask you that I haven't asked you?
No, I think you covered pretty much all of it.
All right, great.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode with Sasha Tupalo. Give Heat Treat Radio a 5-star review or a like on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and the website www.heattreattoday.com/radio. If you'd like to get in contact with Sasha, connect with her on LinkedIn or go to www.thermatool.com. She is a stellar example of what it means to be a young leader in North American heat treat. And if you know someone like her, don't hesitate to go to www.heattreattoday.com/40under40 promo to nominate before June 30th, 2023. If this conversation or any other sparked an idea of something you'd like to hear on Heat Treat Radio, let me know. Also, if you'd like to sponsor a future episode, you can let me know at Bethany@heattreattoday.com. Heat Treat Radio would like to thank Heat Treat veterans for sponsoring this episode. Submit a heat treater's name and contact information to www.heattreattoday.com/veterans-nomination-page. This and every other episode of Heat Treat Radio is the sole property of Heat Treat Today and may not be reproduced in part or in whole without advance written permission from Heat Treat Today. And I'm Bethany Leone. Thank you for listening.